Making a persona is difficult. It's a complex process, but allow me to dumb it down for you. There are so many different paths to take when making a persona. First off, it's an extension of you. Well, it can be. Most people like to create their persona based around their real-life personality, but others use it as an escape from reality and create a completely new character that they want to be perceived as. Now, to start making your persona, you need to figure out who they are. And a great way of doing that is having a backstory. I personally don't have one, but it allows your persona to have depth to it. And here's a great example of a backstory.
Presenting Tiger Millionaire! Rich feline industrialist from Jungle Island. Once the single child of the wealthy tiger family, he clawed out his own destiny, making money in the coconut mines.
Wow, you just came up with all that?
Well, yeah. What's your backstory?
Pumas are cool.
Backstories are always a fun way to understand a persona better. You can even add physical appearances from a backstory, like a battle scar. Although backstories can be long and strenuous, and so if you want a nice simple way for people to know what your persona actually is, you can do likes and dislikes. All you gotta do is just literally write down 2 different columns of what your persona likes and what it doesn't like. It lets people have a better understanding of who they're actually looking at and who they're talking to. Now, the main part most people get stumped on when making a persona is the species. There are so many to choose from, and it can often be overwhelming. Now, as you may know, foxes and wolves rule the fandom in popularity. You know, both great choices. The hell, even my persona was a wolf. It's fine to be either, but if you want to be quirky and different, there are multiple different options. First, you can specify what kind of wolf or fox you want to be if you want to be one of them. You know, for example, you can be an Arctic fox, a dingo, or an alpha. Then for foxes, you could be a fennec fox or an Arctic fox. And you know what? The best part about the furry fandom is that you don't even need to be furry. There are so many different species out there without fur. Some great examples being sharks, dragons, fish, birds, and even insects. The world of animals is there for your choosing. A fun one I always thought of finding out what animal I would be is by asking my non-furry friends the classic question, if you were an animal, what animal would you be? Or, you know, if you want to be really exact, you could take an animal personality quiz. I just took one and it said I was a mountain goat. And here's the best part. It doesn't even matter how others perceive you. You can choose whatever animal you want. It's your persona after all. Don't worry about what other people think. Be true to yourself. Now, you may be asking, but Harbee, there's so many choices, I can't pick one. Perfect, because you can pick as many as you want. It's called being hybrid, and no, it's not the caked up lizard from Fortnite. You can mix and match to your choosing. It's widely accepted in the fandom to combine multiple species into one. Some of the most popular being a wolf, which is a fox and a wolf, and a wagon, which is a wolf and a dragon. And it's not even limited to 2 animals. You can combine as many as you'd like. Now, once you get the species down, here comes an even harder part. What are your persona's colors going to be? The most popular option is to pick your favorite colors and just slap them on there. Although, in the end, it may not look the best. So, if you want to make sure your persona is looking the best, here's a little guide. What I like to do is scroll through different color palettes and get an idea of what colors I want. One thing I did is find a color palette that worked for me, and then I switched up some of the colors. I chose the ones I liked and kicked out the ones I didn't. And one way I did this is that when I found the colors that I liked, I would choose other colors that complemented those ones to make sure everything complements each other. That makes our persona look so cool and awesome, you know, because I'm just so fancy like that. And one other thing with organization that I like to do is that when I find a color palette I like to label or at least think of what each of the colors are going to be on my persona. For example, the main fur, the secondary fur, the hair, the pattern, and the eyes. Just having it all laid out like that really helps me visualize what I really want my persona to look like. I like to associate colors of people's personas with their personality. Like, for example, if someone was a highlighter, you know, which is a very brightly colored persona, they'd have a very vibrant and exuberant personality. Or just clinically insane. And so when going through the rainbow of colors, here are some traits. Red's usually strong and powerful, orange radiance, warmth and happiness, yellow's uplifting and illuminating, green's all about balance and harmony, blue's honesty and loyalty, and purple's being bold and spiritual. And after getting the base colors down, it's time for the patterns. Patterns can be easy and hard. Some people have it come naturally and are really good at making patterns, while some may find it challenging. I sure found it challenging. Now, one way about fixing this is by taking inspiration from others. If you can't figure out a pattern to use, look at other people's personas for inspiration. Now, I'm not just saying to just straight up steal from someone else's design. It's more of like put your own spin on it. Use it to get the ball rolling. For example, I took Bullfrog from Project Laserhawk's eye design and made it my own by changing it up. As you can see here, now they're all pointy. Making patterns can be so much fun, but don't get carried away. Complex designs on characters usually means commissions will be more expensive. So if you're trying to keep this hobby on the cheaper side, stick to something simple. Sometimes simplicity in characters speak the most volumes. Another thing to keep in mind is the silhouette of your persona. You want it to stand out among the rest. And so what you need to do is make sure that if you were just looking at your persona being completely blacked out with no designs or anything being able to be seen, you need to know that that's you. And so to do that, you gotta make your character unique. Add cool designs like a fancy tail or special hair. And another way to help with the silhouette of your Fursona is to add clothes. Now, as you can see, I don't have any clothes. I like to keep it, all natural. Because it's fine in the fandom for your Fursona not to wear clothes. I mean, we are animals after all, we don't wear clothes. But adding clothes can add a cool flair to your Fursona. Give your character some signature outfit like a main character from a TV show. If you don't want a full wardrobe for your character, it's also a fun idea to give your Fursona props. For example, like a hat or like a bag they would wear with them everywhere. It doesn't even have to be clothes. It can be the goddamn Master Sword if you want. Although that may be copyrighted, so just make sure you know what you're doing. And now it's time for the cherry on top. Your name. Naming your Fursona is a really hard decision to make. And, it's gonna be what you're known as in the fandom. But it's not something to fret. Just be truthful to yourself. When I made my current Fursona, Raiju, I found the name through Phasmophobia. I've always loved the idea of ghost hunting, so I thought, why not have my Fursona be named after a ghost? So I literally opened up the Phasmophobia ghost type books in the game and bam! Saw the name Raiju right there and I loved how it sounds, so I took it for my own. Naming can be a really fun and easy thing to do. You just gotta think in the right places. Now hopefully by watching this video, this has helped you get a better idea of how to make a Fursona. It sure is a long and strenuous process, but in the end, it's worth it. To be able to look at your Fursona you made completely on your own should give you a tremendous amount of pride. Be proud of what you make and don't worry about what other people think. It's your baby. And thank you guys for watching this video. Comments on the last one really made my week, seeing how many people enjoyed the video, and so hopefully this one was just as good or even better than the last one. So please make sure to like and subscribe. It truly does mean a lot. And with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!